Hello, everybody. Ryan Carpenter here with No BS Golf, presented by P45 Knuckle Down Golf. Hope everybody's enjoying the start to the Masters Week. It's here. I mean, I can't get more excited than this. I always explain it as kind of, for football folk, this is Super Bowl, right? Or March Madness, you know, people that get all pumped up for that one week. Well, this is our week. This is our big one, at least in my opinion. I know there's three other of the four, and so on and so forth. But personally, for me, Masters does it. So I'm excited. It's a fun week. Heck, I got to start the entire week with three new students, and I tell you that first lesson, that evaluation lesson that we go through with folks, um, probably probably the most enjoyable because the rest of it from that point on is more about getting down to business, doing the work, and that stuff can be difficult and frustrating at times. And but that's the job, right? That's what we're trying to figure out here. How do we get better at an athletic thing? One of which is not very easy, to be honest. And even for the best players in the world, putting in 40 hours a week on it still fail. So, but the evaluation lesson, what occurs more often than not, I don't typically see a whole lot of stuff that surprises me. I've done it enough times, but we get through it and we kind of build this plan for folk, and here's where you are, here's where we want to be, what do we got to do to get there, and all that good stuff. But the combination of that, and it was interesting. I had one fella that he actually said straight up, it's like, well, I've been spending a lot of time on the old YouTube. There you go, and he'd take some information, he'd go try it, and he said, maybe some of it was helpful. He said this last one that he did, boy, did it mess him up, and that right there, that hits it on the head. I mean, it does. It's. I try to explain to people that, look, there is some good information on YouTube for sure, or magazine or book. Information on its own, I mean, doesn't necessarily do anything for you, however. That's why I don't mind giving out information to people. But, the more important part of what I did in these last three evaluations with these three new students here was to get down to the bigger part of this whole thing, which is talking about, look, you're going to get all the information today. The information on its own doesn't provide you with the necessary steps and procedures, and I sum it up with the coaching. Coaching is what's important. Anybody can give out information, and unfortunately anybody can give out good and bad information. So that doesn't make a good instructor, quote unquote. What I call a coach really is, I kind of feel like there's people working in the golf business, people that kind of help others a little bit with some teaching, with clinics and junior programs and so on and so forth. Then you got your dedicated kind of quote unquote instructors of some type or another, in all different levels of understanding and education and experience and all kinds of things. Then you got your high level, not super dedicated, super educated, super experienced, kind of elite level, if you will, in terms of the information providers. And then you have the coaches. And one of the things that we run into, when it comes down to this whole dang process is, well, ideally, here's how I would present it to folk. Okay, you got lots of stuff to work on. Great, whatever. If you have, let's say, $50,000, that's it. I'm done. Closing up shop for everybody else. I'm going to be there with you every step along the way. Meaning, you're going to get your lesson, and then you're going to get me standing there watching you, basically making sure that you're doing things right. And where does that come from? Well, lots of things. The amount of times we've sent players off to go work on stuff that come back, and like, I did it, and I'm like, not quite. Darn. We got to try again. So the trial and error aspect of learning how to hit golf ball a little bit better. And then The more important part is, we look at the best players in the world. When Mr., instructor coach guy is standing there on the range with old, whoever, Hovland, it doesn't matter, you can pick any name you want. After they're done talking about stuff and figuring out what's got to get done, that coach doesn't walk away. They're there. They might be there for 8 hours that day, just standing there watching. And that's their job as a coach. So, in order to really, truly provide what we need with players, you don't just give a lesson and walk the hell away. I don't understand that. I do understand it because I think it's just been what has been the way, right? That's how we do it, I guess, mindset. But the reality is that I got to a point where I saw that so much, and then I went into some other endeavors with Golf Tech and other things, and I started to go, sorry, folks, that's BS. There's got to be more to it. You've got to be doing much more as a coach for your players. Because if you're not, then again, you're just providing information. And providing information doesn't get the job done. As a coach, we're more focused on and trying to, as best as possible, create a weekly, a bi-weekly set of specifics. What to focus on, exactly how to do it, how to check yourself. Again, if I'm not standing there watching you, making sure that you're doing it correctly, how the heck are you going to know you're doing it? There's the first question. How you going to know? And so the coaching becomes in crucial, and that's where a lot of the tools come into play. Like I just recently partnered with, local indoor golf simulator bar, www.thegolfpub.com. Hey, Central Georgia, you got to come check it out, by the way. Anyhow, but the reason I wanted to work with them is they, in conjunction, with our partnership, can provide me, and more importantly, my students, an environment where I can coach them better. It's difficult to explain, but I can't begin to tell you how many times, even just, I'm not even talking about when I'm not there, standing on a range, working with someone, and literally watching them lose focus. Even though I'm standing right there trying to coach them through it because of distractions. There's a player over here, a ball over there, a driver hit over there, a thing up here and back here, and I heard that, and a what up, and a If I can't get a player focused at times on a range while I'm there making them stay focused, how in the world are they going to do it on their own? So, the big part of the coaching is specifically bringing to the table the details, designing specifics to the practice. I hate the word practice, but we'll use it. Practices, and making sure that without being able to spend all kinds of crazy money and time, which neither one of us have, I can't spend 40 hours a week with you, and you probably can't afford it. Fine. I've come up with many other ways, and I've got the proper feedback tools as well available to students and whatnot, and that comes down to the lesson process, so we'll leave that for now. Anyways, I know how to coach my students, and I know how to provide the coaching that they need. They desperately, everyone needs it. I don't care who you are. Tiger Woods needs someone else telling them, hey, look, this, that, so blah, blah. So, coaching is what matters. And if you're out there looking for information, fine, go to the information, but be very careful. I ran into it once again. I've been running into this for 15, 20 years. I went to this thing, I heard this, I watched that, I read this and this thing, and I went out and tried it, and it ruined me. Hit the brakes. I know. And if you talk to my past students, eventually I'm going to hopefully get some of them on here. They'll tell you the same thing. Like, oh, yeah, don't do that. No. Coaching matters, folks. And the more important part of my job is being a good coach. And it goes beyond just, what we're talking about here. I mean, it's whether it's the doing the job, is part of it. But I also tell, these three new fellas and some other, people down the road in the past as well, my job doesn't end when I walk away. Like, whether we're here for 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, and we're working on stuff, and you pack up and you go, that ain't the end. When you get to working on it, and you're like, man, I'm not sure. Call, text, FaceTime, email, I don't care. Lots of ways to reach out to me. But I tell them specific, you are required to reach out to me. If you have questions, if you're not sure, don't spend a single second doing anything that could be possibly wrong. My job is to coach you. I'm here to coach you for the next 6, 9, 12, 15 months, 2 years, whatever it ends up being. Yeah, it could be 2 years, by the way. That's another important thing. We'll get to that later. Anyways, but coaching is what matters. And so when you're out there talking, I doubt it, but maybe you're in Alaska and you're seeing this right now. Great. Hey, how you doing? Come talk to me anytime you want to, okay? But by the way, I coach players from all around the country. That's not a problem. We use video via email, send it back and forth. We jump on FaceTime or Zoom together. Lots of ways to communicate and get this job done. So if you want to reach out to me, you go right ahead. And I'll leave some of the info here in a second for that. Anyways, back to the final part here. Coaching. Coaching what matter. Coaching. If you're out there, YouTube, find a coach, though, that understands, A, does it apply to you? B, is it even important for you? And if it is, what's the proper way to go about it? Because the way I saw a player going about it here just yesterday was just, unfortunately, the wrong way to go about it anyways. And what was amazing was he verbalized, well, they told me this and this. And I went, well, okay, I mean, technically that's good info. I mean, that's kind of what we want players to do. Keyword there, kind of. And then I saw what he was attempting, and I was like, oh, dear, no. Please stop. Just stop. But it made sense. He already realized it. He was like, man, this ball is just doing weird things, and it feels weird. And I'm like, after seeing that, I bet. And anyways, we got him squared away. We're moving forward with him, so can't wait to get started there. But that's the big picture. YouTube does not have the coaching aspect, nor does it know what you do and if what it's saying applies to you in the first place. And those are important pieces to this whole puzzle. While there might be good information out there, it may not apply to you. And even if it does, are they really providing for you? Not John, not Tom, not Susie, not Sally over there. For you, are they providing the proper path, specifically with details on how to go about achieving that mini goal, which is going to get you to your bigger goals? So that's the problem with YouTube, folks. I ran into it once again, and that's no BS golf. I love the YouTube. I'm right here doing it myself, right? But so much of it out there is lacking information. And number one, more than anything, it's lacking the coaching. Coaching matters, folks. So, as always, please help me out. Hit that smash button, subscribe, share this out there with everyone you know. Go to your Twitter, go to your Facebook, whatever. Just share. Please help me out in that regard. I would really appreciate it. Comments below, always. If you have anything, throw it down there. I will read this. I will answer it. Also, if you want something talked about, I don't care what it is. Golf. I mean, it's got to be golf related. But, I can try to talk non-golf, but then I don't know if I can be an expert at that stage. So, but anyways, if you want something you want me to cover, I'll be glad to cover it as well. Please contact me on that. Go to the Twitter at P45KDG. So that's the Twitter, verse handle. The email P45 Knuckle Down Golf, all one word. Knuckle Down Golf at gmail.com. You can obviously hit me up here, but come and talk. Let me know. I'll be glad to cover anything. But yeah, please hit that like button more than anything and subscribe. Those are huge. And go out there and find your coach, folks. Because if you ain't got a coach, sorry, that's just BS. Because they ain't gonna get you very far. It's just not going to work. You need a coach. Coaches are important. Coaches matter. All right, we'll talk to you later. Take care.